Hello, cosmic beings. Welcome to Being Cosmic. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I am so glad that each and every one of you are here. My name is Devon, and I will be doing a collective message today. So, with that, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. All right. What's going on? I thought this was the one we wanted. Okay. We'll give it a go again. That one might want it. Okay. So, because of the way that nothing really wanted to come out, and then we got the thinking woman, what I'm picking up, there's two different major threads of energy coming through. So, if you're a masculine, then the message coming through is that you are kind of stuck in your thoughts about a feminine. If you're more of a feminine, this is you really up in your thoughts right now. Really, and I'm getting overthinking. And because of this overthinking, it's almost like the messages that are trying to come through to you right now aren't making their way in to your consciousness. So it's not like the signs aren't coming. It's just that you're not really catching the signs more or less or tapping into that inner guidance because of overthinking. We've got journey. Okay, for some of you, you might be planning a vacation. Others of you, this could be maybe moving locations. For others of you, you could be stuck in your head about the journey and the journey just in general, life, spirituality. Maybe it is like a romantic thread of energy and you're just kind of stuck in your thoughts about it. And where is this going to go? And how is this going to go? And just all of the thoughts. All of the thoughts. All tied up. Okay, that was in the reverse. Okay, so we've got the first chakra. The color's red. It sits at the base of the spine. It governs your relationship with the physical world. So it has to do with security, stability, and it does have to do with finances, things like that. Because it's in reverse, that's indicating a block in some way. And that can happen if you're really, really up in your thoughts. Mm, yeah, so the message coming through is to ground that energy into your body and down into the earth. And so pull your energy down through your body. Kind of pull out of that thought space a little bit. Oh, that was in reverse. Okay, so I'm going to read that. We've got all tied up in the reverse position. So this is talking about it's telling you that the ties that are binding are about to break loose. A previously stuck situation is opening up and the restrictions are clearing out. It indicates you're ready to break free from the habits and patterns that have kept you tied up for so long. Get ready to free yourself. You have all the power and clarity at this point, so untie the binds of the patterns that have stopped you from being authentic and empowered. Now is the time to liberate yourself. Hey, that's good stuff. So there's some big blocks in life in general that are lifting. Don't overthink it. That's part of this message. Allow those blocks to just go. When they go, let them go. Don't try and hold on to something that's leaving because it's leaving your life for a very positive reason. Okay. So the first chakra being in reverse, this card being in reverse. Let me make sure I'm reading the right one. Okay. Um, It's talking about facing significant challenges and some very difficult emotions. The energy in your first chakra may be blocked, revealing potential fears about your safety, feelings of insecurity, or even depression. This blocked energy could also signal financial worry or desperation. Issues of instability can shake you to your very core, so it's important to get the energy moving freely through this chakra. Call upon Archangel Michael for assistance and visualize his light and power filling this area and bringing you a greater sense of your own true strength and eternal stability. Meditate on the affirmation below and feel your sense of safety and balance return. And then here's the affirmation. My first chakra is open to its perfect, healthy state. I am strong, stable, safe, and secure. Archangel Michael guides and supports me always. Okay, so it's almost like there's energy that is trying to leave your life right now, but because of this blocked root chakra, you could be holding on to some of it. And so there could be kind of this struggle going on. For some of you, if you might be in a period of deep rest right now, which is interesting because I was actually having this thought before I was called to record today. And it's funny because astrologically right now, there's a lot of talk about, oh, I just forgot the name of it. There's this unique astrological thing taking place. If you're watching this when I post it, it's a unique astrological thing. It's Aries something. Oh, I forgot what it's called. But basically, there's like 6 or 7 planets in Aries, and it's just it hasn't happened in recorded history. And so a lot of people are getting this urge and they're like, now's the time to start and do this thing and get things going and so on and so forth. And personally, I've been feeling the opposite for the past little bit here, and it's been kind of like stagnant. It's been this, okay, the energy on the whole is like it's time to get going, it's time to start this thing. And for me, it's like just wait a little bit longer. And so it can be confusing. So maybe you're on that end of things where you're experiencing actually the opposite of what is astrologically going on. And there are some of us that just naturally do. We just naturally go against the grain even when it's astrology. Or like the astrological influences and stuff. Sometimes this can be like in the summertime, people are, they're out and they're working and they're doing this and they're doing that. And then, there's other people who in the summertime are like, I just want to, take it easy and relax and not overwork and so on and so forth. And then the winter comes and then it's flip flopped. And, some people just kind of take it easy and go slower in the winter. And then there's those that are more like, winter is the time when I get shit done. And so just know that if you're experiencing the opposite of what other people are talking about they are experiencing, it's okay. We all process this kind of energy differently. So just know that. So you could be really kind of called into this period of just kind of rest, taking it easy, and then naturally allowing that energy when it kicks up and picks up, naturally flow with it. Don't try and push against it because that's what people are saying is going on. So if you're feeling the call to rest and take it easy and process some of the stuff that's coming up, deep emotions, those kinds of things, allow yourself to do that. And instead of being like, okay, I shouldn't be doing this because I need to be acting and starting these new things. You're going at your own flow. Listen to your own guidance. Then there's another thing about emotions that wants to come through. So if you're experiencing a lot of emotions right now, the main thing with emotions is they want to move. And so you don't need to sit there and analyze every single emotion that comes to the surface. Oftentimes it's just coming up to move. If you're doing inner work and you're kind of digging deep and pulling some stuff up to the surface, you don't always have to sit there and be like, what is this? Why am I feeling this? It's just let it move. And if you need the clarity for it, you'll get the clarity for it. Sometimes it just needs to move. Um, sometimes we help move through some of this emotional stuff that the collective isn't dealing with. So sometimes those emotions aren't even ours. It can be somebody around you that's not choosing to feel their emotions, and then you're picking up on it in your energy system and you're moving it. And so it's just like getting that energy moving. So that could be something else that's really going on right now. So if you're kind of emotionally all over the place, don't judge it and just allow those emotions to flow. And you can journal about it too. And then maybe you'll look back in a week or a month or however long and be like, oh, that's what was going on, was I was clearing a lot of stuff that was ancestral or collective, or, I was healing this wound and I didn't even know it. And that's what all this emotion was about. Okay. Ooh, door to personal healing and happiness. And an angel of love. So, and what I'm picking up from the angel of love primarily right now is actually self love. So, you could be really focused on self love right now and allowing those emotions to move, listening to your body, listening to your energy system, taking a rest, taking a break, amping up the self care. Those are all forms of self love. So, yeah, I feel like you're really getting some extra assistance in the spiritual realm right now to help you process and move through these emotions and to really amp up the self-love and do some more of those kinds of things. Door to personal healing and happiness. Okay, being told to read it. Interesting. So there's a message in here for us. New beginnings in your personal life. Okay, it's the harbinger of positive change. Um, Whether you're working on inner healing, such as breaking an addiction, or looking to make external changes, such as finding a new place to live, this card signals your life is opening up and new opportunities are about to appear. The changes you've been working on are ready to blossom with wonderful results, so make sure you see your personal intentions through with continued action and optimistic expectations. Okay, and then I got two extra messages in here. For some of you, the positive change is actually in your love life because it was followed by the angel of love. So there could be in self-love is definitely the precursor to really entering into more of like a divine union. Um so that's, that definitely goes together. The other thing here is with this journey card, some of you could be getting ready to move to a new location. And so that's just extra confirmation for you. And it's also coming through to let you know that that will happen and you will be successful with it. And same thing over here, if you are calling in a love situation, the same thing. It's, it's a harbinger of positive change in that aspect. So, it's gonna be good. What else? Any more here? Chin. Interesting. I was just going on a whole tangent of astrologically what's going on and action and Aries and all of that stuff. So you could be part of the major collective right now who is feeling inspired to take action on a certain thing in life. Um And so if that's the case, if you're feeling that inspiration and you're feeling the urge and it's in alignment, do it. Follow that energy because it's one of those when you follow the natural energy that is coming in for you, it makes it 1,000 times easier. When you're like, okay, I need to act, but you're exhausted and you don't feel like it and you're just like, oh, and you're fighting against it, you can still act from that place, but it's going to have very different results and it's going to be a very different experience than when you actually are acting in alignment. So make sure that you're really listening to your own guidance right now because I am picking up there are some of you that are experiencing what I'm experiencing where it's like this opposite energy and a time to slow down. But I am also picking up the energy of it's time to act and it's time to do this thing. And because we've got the action card, I feel like probably most of you are actually, if you're not right now in that energy of like, okay, it's time to act, be expecting it. I just heard within the next 24 hours. So just get ready. Because the time to act is like upon you. The time to act is upon you. Okay. Okay, so I had to pause it really quick to blow my nose, and I'm not experiencing like nose blowing symptoms. So, what that normally means if that happens in a reading is the need to communicate and throat chakra energy moving. So, that thread of energy is definitely still coming up. So for some of you, you're being guided to take action when it comes to communicating. And then we've got anxiety. And it fell out right next to the action card. So you could have some anxiety around this action. Um, just know that if you have anxiety around it, that's not always a sign to not take this action. A lot of times that's actually the inner critic or the ego mind coming in to tell you not to do this because it's pushing you out of your comfort zone. It's something new, it's something different. And so the part of you that's trying to keep you safe is telling you not to do that. But then your soul or your higher self or the divine, whatever you work with, is coming through and saying, no, it's time to act. And so it can be this kind of internal battle of like, well, part of me saying not to, part of me is telling me to act, and I don't know which one to listen to. And so the thing is, that's where grounding your energy in and releasing some of that mental energy and pulling into the now moment, check in, go put your feet on the earth if you can, like bare feet on the earth. Pull your energy through your body. Pull some of that energy back into you. Wrap yourself in a bubble of light. I use gold light, but you can use white light. I just prefer gold or silver. Um, and then from that place, get kind of centered, release some of that anxiety, and then say, okay, am I being guided to act from a deeper place than what my mind is telling me right now? Yeah, and I'm getting for some of you, this is a leap into the unknown. Oh, yeah. Okay. We've got all the chakras out. Not really. We've got three, but that's still a good bit to come out in reading. Okay, so yeah, 3 out of 7 of the major ones. That's a good bit. Okay, so we've got the fifth chakra, that's the throat chakra. That's what I was just talking about with blowing my nose. So there's definitely I'm not really picking up a huge block in the throat. I'm picking up just more of kind of it's more of the energy of allowing it to move. And so for some of you, that is going to be communicating in some way. Maybe it's writing, maybe it's journaling, maybe it's singing, maybe it's actually talking to somebody, using your voice in some way. Um, but yeah, there's definitely a communication element that is coming through. And then we've got the second chakra, which is the sacral, and that is the color's orange. It sits between the belly button and the base of the spine. It governs the reproductive system. It has to do with sensuality, passion, creativity. And so there's definitely I'm not picking up a block here. So I think your sacral, I feel like your sacral is flowing. Follow your passions. And then I just heard it's time to act on your passions. And so that's going to vary for each of you. But whatever it is that is really when you tap in and you're like, what are my passions? It's those first things that come to mind, those immediate things. And then that, if you've been getting the signs, if you're like, okay, what are my passions? And then a few things come to mind. If there's something that you've been, like, playing with in your mind and you're like, "Okay, this is something that I feel like is meant for me, something that I do wanna follow, something that I do want to embrace," so on and so forth, then now is the time to act on some of those passions. And it's really just about taking those first steps, and then from there, you'll gain momentum. Yeah, it's one of those energies where sometimes that first step is the hardest, especially if it's like, starting a business or doing something, completely out of your comfort zone. That first step outside of the comfort zone is really uncomfortable. And then the more you do it, the less uncomfortable it becomes. And then we've got woman holding a heart. So this is a feminine energy, holding their heart, a feminine energy in love in some way. So again, it can be, if you're more of a feminine energy, and we've got masculine and feminine energies within us. And then it's just more of a polarity that you tend to embody more so. So if you identify with more of the feminine energies and being a divine feminine type of an energy, then this is saying that you are tapping into your heart space and really seeing what is there for you. If you're a masculine energy, then I feel like this has something to do with an external person that you are I just heard you copped feelings for. Um, so yeah, and I'm picking up a single type of an energy. If you're not actually single, you're not in relationship with this person. Um, yeah, I'm feeling that you're not in a relationship with the person. If you're masculine, you're not in a relationship with this feminine. Um, and I just heard that's causing anxiety. Um, so again, just take it as it resonates. Yeah, that's the main thread that I'm pulling through for the masculine energy on this one. So if you're masculine and you're like, no, I'm in a relationship and it's great and it's wonderful and this is my person, then this just ignore that. If that is your case, the message coming through is that there was a message and then it just left. Okay. It's almost, I just heard the coast is clear. So just maybe extra confirmation that, yeah, it's all is well on that front. Okay. Anything else? Those are interesting to come out together. We've got appreciation and deceit. How in the hell? Okay, appreciation is like an attitude of gratitude, really showing appreciation for what is in your life, what is coming into your life, what you're manifesting. Just, being alive and having another day on earth. Um, and then also appreciating what you are manifesting, what you are calling into your life and showing appreciation for that, even though it's not quite here yet. That's a really huge part of manifestation is being grateful for something that you want to bring in as though it already is in your life. What the deceit card though? So this can be talking about an external person around you that is in a deceitful energy. If that's the case, what I'm hearing is that's confirmation. So if you're like, "No, there's nobody in my life that I'm really, worried about being in this energy," then this part isn't for you. This will be confirmation. So if you've been contemplating or kind of like suspicious a little bit, like, is this person really being truthful? Are they really being authentic? Is there something kind of deceptive going on here? If you've been kind of questioning it, then I feel like this is confirmation for you. Um, and this can also talk about internal deceit, telling yourself you can't have something or you're not good enough for something or you're not this enough or that enough. It's that internal deceit, that inner critic that's telling you you can't do something. You're not this enough or that or enough or, whatever. It's all that naysaying inner critic talk. Um, mm, okay, let me just a second. I had to pause it to blow my nose again. And then I heard something as I was blowing my nose, and it was being deceitful when it comes to action. So this isn't an intentional thing. This is more of a fear thing that's coming up for you right now that's telling you it's not time to take this action for whatever of the thousand reasons that your mind will come up with. And that's what you're really being made aware of in this message is that it is time to act. So it's so tricky because it's one of those things, if there's a part of you that knows it's time to take action, but then you're mentally telling yourself all the reasons why not to, then that's you going against the energy. And then it would be vice versa. So if you're like, I know I need to act, but I'm just so tired. I'm just so this. I just don't have the energy to start this thing. Then that would be the flip side of that. So take it as it resonates because there are two threads of energy, but the more dominant energy coming through is the energy of somebody who is in the energy to act, to take action on whatever passion is coming up for you right now. And you're telling yourself, I'll just wait another day. I'll wait until this astrological event happens. I'll wait until this sign comes in. I'll wait until right when I said I'll wait till this sign comes in, eh, if you're asking for confirmation when it's time to act and you get the confirmation, then do that. If you're like, okay, I'm going to take action when this thing happens, and it's something that isn't like completely outlandish, then, okay, like make sure you're listening to your own internal guidance above all else. That being said, it can be tricky because our mind can trick us very, very easily and tell us like, no, it's not time because it's not time because don't do that now because, and it'll be a lot of fear based stuff. Um, yeah. So maybe what I just got kind of shown is to write down all of these reasons why you are not taking this action, and then kind of pull yourself out of it and think about if like your really close friend that you care about very deeply comes to you and is like, well, these are the reasons I'm not taking action. Then think about what your advice to that person would be, coming from more of a neutral standpoint. And then that will bring some clarity. That's a good little tactic. All right. Alrighty dokie. What else wants to come out about this? Yep. Oh, adjacent possibilities. I thought that was the divine timing card. Okay. Adjacent possibilities. How? I mean, it's really talking about lots of different opportunities being available. Okay, I'm being told to read it. Many unconsidered options. Sometimes the force of habit keeps you stuck and unaware of potentially healthier and happier choices at hand. Yet every moment gives you the option to open a different door and take a different course, whether it's in your thoughts, behaviors, or major life decisions. This card is here to tell you you have many options and it's time to take a wider look at things. As you consider the many life choices available, you'll feel more and more empowered and motivated to make the decisions that bring happiness, strength, and forward motion. In terms of your goals, this card could indicate unknown and previously unconsidered ideas. Perhaps there's a marketing tool you haven't thought of, a connection you haven't tapped, or even an entirely different direction that would be more suited to you. Be conscious, be aware, and be flexible and willing to take new and different action now. My throat is just all over the place. So, yeah, for some of you, this is definitely the need to communicate. Holy moly. Um, um, yeah, so it's really just talking about kind of expanding your awareness a little bit, opening up to new possibilities. And you can just kind of mentally do that and just say, okay, I'm going to open myself up to new opportunities, new abilities, new possibilities that I previously have been unaware of. And then just kind of observe and allow some of that guidance to come through. That's kind of a surrendered state. And when that's your energy, that's when other opportunities and stuff flow through you because you're not sitting there in a tunnel visioned energy of like, this thing needs to happen this way. So if you open yourself up and allow that guidance in, that's when you're more in like that surrendered state and you're just open and allowing this insight to come through you. And it will. It will. Okay, let's see if we can get anything else out about this. It's interesting. I'm not getting a whole lot of specifics. There is a specific thread coming through, and that is the thread of a masculine needing to communicate with a feminine energy. That's the main one that's coming through that's a little more specific. But other than that, what I'm getting is for a lot of you, this could be in career. Um, for some of you, there's a thread of energy coming through. If you are moving locations, there might be something here with this adjacent possibilities. So if you've been planning on moving or wanting to move and you've been locked in on this one thing, but it's not happening, then that might be what's coming up for you right now is to say, open yourself up to other possibilities because it might not be happening for you because you're actually being called in a different direction. And you can apply that to just other areas of life as well. The temple path. All right, so this is the soul-led path, the higher self-led path, the path back to self, the path to spirit, whatever you want to term it. It's really talking about committing to that path and then allowing yourself to enjoy the fun, the funness of that path. It's kind of one of those things when I talk about this path, sometimes it can be really hard. But the thing is it's life can be hard in general. So, it's one of those you pick your hard. So, it's hard to do this, it's hard to do that. It's hard to be plugged in and have to, do these things. It's hard to go against the grain, and it's just in different ways. And so by picking the temple path, yes, there are unique challenges. It can be extremely difficult. That being said, there's no limits on this path. This is the path where everything is possible to you, and you're just going to be guided in a slightly different way than, most of society. So, it's picking your path, picking your version of hard and sticking with it. And I feel like you're already on this path, and maybe you're still kind of wobbling one foot in, one foot out, not fully committing to this path. Once you fully commit to it, it gets easier in a sense because you're not pulled in so many directions. You're not trying to, fit in these boxes, but also follow your higher self guidance. And that can be challenging because you're pulled in two different directions, two opposing directions oftentimes. And so I feel like there's a little bit of insight coming in to really allow yourself to fully commit to this path. I just heard 10 toes down. So 10 toes down on the temple path. Really picking it and committing to it and staying on it and saying, okay, whatever's in my highest good, I'm game for, let's do this. And allow it, allow that insight to come in, allow yourself to release what no longer serves, because that opens you up to bringing in what is in alignment. And oftentimes what is in alignment for you is something beyond what you can even fathom, which is the exciting part of the temple path. Yeah, the temple path is definitely the path where it's so unknown. And it's funny because there'll be times when people will ask me, hey, do you want to do this thing with me next year? And I'm like, dude, I don't know where I'm going to be or what I'm going to be doing in 6 months. I cannot commit to something like that, you know? Um, Sometimes I can, but a lot of the times, if somebody's asking me about something in 6 months, I'm like, dude, I don't even know where I'm going to be. I'll just be honest, especially right now, because I'm very much in that, full surrendered state. When you're in the full surrendered state, you could be whisked away and your entire life is completely different within a matter of months. So it's just understanding, there's different levels of surrender on this journey. And so just, that's where it's really important to continue to build that relationship with yourself, with the divine in whatever way that is, and follow that guidance. And know that your higher self isn't going to let you down. Like your higher self wants you to live the life of your dreams. Always, unconditionally. Like, it's an unconditionally loving energy. It's never judging you. It's just there is the ultimate loving guide, that's connected to you, that wants to experience certain things, but, is here for the journey, is down for the experience. That's in reverse, eh? Envy. What? What? Okay. Are those 2 different threads? Nope, that's the same thread. Hmm. No, that was in reverse. Okay. We've got financial constraints in reverse. That's a that's a good sign. This portends to an increase in money about to come your way. The previous constrictions have broken open and there's a greater flow of money and other things. As more funds come in, you'll find that you have the freedom to take more risks and spend without the previous extreme precautions. The river of abundance is starting to flow your way, but don't be too cavalier. Always bring your consciousness to this in every aspect of your life. Ooh, 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 ooh. Big, big money. So, yeah, so you've got a windfall coming in. It's just like this. I'm seeing this energy of like all of these restrictions that you may have had when it comes to finances and all of that are lifting. And that's where it's really important to really rebalance your root chakra right now, because this is coming in for you, and it's going to take a more balanced base chakra energy for you to really allow it to flow. Okay. Then we've got envy. What does this envy card have to do with this? Is this the collective? People around the collective. Gotcha. You could have people, yeah. Okay, so there's still some energies around you that are in this envy energy when it comes to you. And some of us on this journey, and just because of the energy we carry, we trigger envy in people by just being ourselves. And, and that's actually kind of, it's kind of a normal thing, because if you are more tapped into your authenticity, when you interact with somebody who isn't, you're shining a light on where they are not acting authentically to themselves. And then depending on where they're at on their journey, one of two things is going to happen. One, they're going to take it, they're going to internally work with it and say, okay, what about the situation caused me to feel envy? And, what is this showing me? And do that internal work. That's going to be more of a select few. On the norm, what happens is when you illuminate that to somebody else by simply you just being you, then what will happen oftentimes is it'll be projected back onto you. And like, well, you just think you're blah, 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 or you're just this, or you're just lucky, or no, 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 no. And it's just a projection of those shadow aspects of themselves that they aren't ready to look at. So just know that. Um, Again, it's one of these things like that's really none of your business. I mean, protect yourself, have some boundaries, be aware of it, but don't take it personally. Don't internalize it, because 90% of the time it really doesn't have anything to do with you. You're just living life. You're just being you. You're just tapping in. You're just, listening to spirit, doing your thing. And other people are going to be triggered by it. And that's kind of part of it too, because that's an opportunity for them to do some inner work. Most people aren't going to take that invitation. It is what it is. They're going to project it back onto you, and then at that point, all of you, like all that you're required to do, your responsibility is to not take that on. Because when you take that on, it's an energetic thing that happens and they're able to dump it into your lap. And then you're taking it on. If you don't take it on, then it either bounces back or it transmutes. But you're not taking that on as your responsibility. Because it's not yours. Okay. Strategy card doing tricks over here. There's the divine timing card. Is that in reverse? That one? Okay. Oh shit. We've got strategy in reverse, broken heart in reverse, and then the patience card, which is divine timing. Um Make sure when you go to act, make sure it's not from a place of lack or urgency. But it's see, that's where it's difficult, because sometimes you'll get a soul urgency that's like, okay, it's time to act now. And it's more intuitive. It's not coming from a place of fear or lack. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. So if you're like, I need to do this now because I'm running out of time. I need to do this now because if not, then I might not be able to do it. If it's coming from that place, just be mindful of that. If it's coming from the place of I need to do this now because I have the cojones to do this now, then do it. You know what I mean? So just again, listen to your own inner guidance when it comes to this. So, I had to pause it really quick. Side interruption. But then something interesting came up when I had it paused, and it has to do with me and not acting lately, like past week or two, and all of that. And then I was guided to actually share it. So, story time, really quick. Um, Basically, I've mentioned it a couple times where I've been working on my new channel, and I've got enough content recorded to go for like the first week, maybe two, probably like a week and a half. I think I've got like 5 videos recorded. And I've been, like, okay, I just need to do this the actual technical stuff of setting up the channel and blah 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 blah. I've already got the email and everything. It's just like actually setting up the channel and then releasing the content. So it's not like there's a whole lot in the way. And I was beating myself up for not starting it before mentally. So apparently I'm in this energy a little bit too. Um, but I was mentally beating myself up for it. And then I got hit with an autoimmune thing. So I actually got shingles, which is just not pleasant. But it's definitely not the energy to be in to need to record more content on a new channel. And so it's interesting because I was like ready to do it, and then stuff would just keep coming up. And then I would like muscle test or, kind of tap into it and like, okay, am I meant to, stay up late and start it? Like, am I meant to just do it tomorrow? And I kept getting like, wait till tomorrow, which is, just not super normal guidance for that because it was so like energetically, it was like, okay, the time is now. And then I was just kind of like being paused. And it was one of these like, but I want to get this out now. Some of this content could really probably help people right now. I want to get it out. And the divine was like, not yet, not yet, not yet. And then all of a sudden I got shingles, which, knocks you on your ass and you're dealing with nerve pain. And so it was one of those, oh, that's why, because it would have been really hard to take care of myself and do what I needed to do for my health while also having the pressure of keeping up with a brand new channel. Because once you start, you got to stay in the algorithm to really have it kick off. So, anyways, total side note, maybe there's something, maybe with that story, there's something in your life that just clicked and gave you some clarity. If so, yay. If not, there's also the flip side of that, and that's actually more dominantly what I'm getting in this energy is it's more of the opposite. It's more of the I know I'm getting all the signs, I'm getting all the guidance to act now, and then it's actually the inner critic that's coming up to stop you. And so it's funny because I experienced that when I started being cosmic. And it was, for like 2 or 3 months I was recording messages, but then I was judging everyone and not, like, "Oh, that's not good enough. I stuttered," or "I paused too long. I've gotta figure out how to edit," but editing out 5 seconds of a video is a pain in the ass, and just, all of these things, and it was the opposite. It was imposter syndrome. It was, my inner critic, my ego saying, "Don't do this. It's gonna be scary. You're putting yourself out there. People could judge you. People could say mean things," whatever. It was all those things. And, are you really going to be able to bring through these messages? Is anybody going to actually listen? Are you actually going to help people? It was all that shit coming up. And so in this, those are two examples of how divine timing in the inner critic play. Because the first one with being cosmic, I was being guided to actually take action and start that business for way longer. And then for my new channel, Divine Devon, it was, oh, hey, that's the new channel name. I don't think I've said that yet. Um, on my new channel, it was the opposite. It was, okay, I've done this before. I know how to do it. Let's get this done. And then divine guidance was coming through saying, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. So it's really important to find some tools that you can use that override that ego inner critic. That's where muscle testing, maybe if you flip your own cards, asking for different signs, if it's a yes, show me a bird. If it's a no, show me an insect, whatever, right? It can be any of that. And so it is really important to pay attention to that and listen to your own guidance, but make sure that you're actually listening to the guidance and not your inner critic. In this energy for most of you, I'm picking up that it is time to act and your inner critic is telling you not to. With just the energy that I'm feeling, with the anxiety out here, with the way that this started, the cards weren't really talking. It was kind of really muddled. Lots of mental headspace energy coming in to kind of fog the energy a little bit. And so that's where really getting out of your head into your body, into the now moment, release those fears, release those worries, and see what you're actually being guided to do from that higher self level. Okay. And then we've got strategy and broken heart in the reverse. And I'm actually going to read both of them because they are in reverse. I have not seen strategy in reverse. So, okay. So it's talking about maybe needing to reevaluate things. Um, um, so it's saying to get out of the role of a passive observer and become the author and director of your own destiny. Yeah, that totally tracks with the energy I'm picking up on. So, yeah, it's about kind of taking control of your life back a little bit and knowing that you are an active player in your life. As weird as that kind of sounds, hopefully you understand what I mean. There's the energy of like letting life just happen to you, and this does get confusing. So, it is the energy of like just, whatever happens, happens. But there's a difference between kind of letting life pass you by and being just kind of lost in the wind versus being in a consciously surrendered state. And so the difference is one, being more of that passive observer and just kind of letting life pass you by, it's very ungrounded, and it's very much it's coming from a fear place at the root. It's coming from the place of, I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to have my expectations at this level and then get disappointed. So I'm just gonna, fuck it. Whatever happens, happens. And then there's the place of divine surrender where you're like, okay, I know what I deserve. I know what I'm worthy of. I know what I want to experience in this life. Now let's make this happen. And then you're listening to the guidance and you're actively doing what you're being called to do when you're called to do it. You're listening to the guidance when it comes in. You're grounded, you're rooted, you're bringing it through into the physical realm. You're taking that divinely guided action but still in a surrendered state. So you're not controlling the outcome, you're not attaching to all of these things. You're still allowing, but it's not just, I'm just going to float in the wind and hope for the best. And it does get confusing because there's certain manifestation stuff that's like, don't actually put anything out there. And then there's other stuff that's like, decide on a number of an amount that you want to manifest, and it's really really there's a lot of information, and they work in their own ways, and so it's about finding what way works for you, and there's phases. And so as you learn this kind of manifestation, then you'll open up to this kind of manifestation and this kind of manifestation, and it kind of works in layers. And so just know that too, it's a process, it's a journey, and it's going to change. And so it's really about allowing what is going to go, allow what's coming into your life to come in, but don't do it from a place of, I'm not, it's kind of like know your power in a sense. I know that you are an active player in your life, if that makes sense. Okay. The broken heart in reverse. I know this is about healing and releasing some major heart wounds. So good job. Um, It marks a time of renewal and hope. The pain and trauma are behind you now, and you can trust that greater joy is on the way. Whatever happened to hurt you in the past, you're now free to move on. The universe has much better things in store for you, so finish letting go of any residual grief and open your life to new, loving, self loving intention. Joyous connection will follow. Ooh, yeah. And then I was brought up to the Angel of Love card and like self love. Ooh, okay. We've got there's such this dualistic energy going on. So it's like earlier the envy card came out with what did it come out with? Oh yeah, the envy card came out with financial constraints in the reverse. So envy is like the polarity of not so great. And then financial constraints is in the polarity of like, yes, yes, we're making some moves. Things are looking up. And then, appreciation came out with deceit. And so it's like these really contrasting energies that are coming out, which is very, very interesting. So you could be feeling this definite pull. Okay, yep. So there's this pull. There's this, like things are looking up, but I'm still kind of worried. I want to walk the temple path, but I still want people to view me as though I'm doing things in order with societal expectations. It's like this dualistic, it's this pulling energy where it's like part of you is trying to go this way, but the other part of you is trying to go that way. And I resonate with that. I do understand that. And that's where just committing to the path, to your highest potential, to your most authentic version, whatever's for your highest good, that can really help anchor you in to the energy of the temple path, basically, of the path that eventually leads to the life of your dreams. That's guaranteed where that path leads. So, it's just how you're going to get there is really unknown. Um, so yeah. Um, and then the two that came out that were kind of conflicting is we've got indecision and happy family. And so for some of you, what's going on, this is especially if you're resonating with that romantic thread of energy that was coming through. I feel like there's still indecision on whether or not you want to go towards this. It is available for you, it is in your energy, and you might just still be kind of in this energy of indecision about it. Worried about actually going towards it. The indecision card can also be where you're not sure, like with that career thread of energy that was coming through, not sure if you want to go this way or that way, or if the time is right, or if you should wait. It's that kind of an energy, and that's where, again, really getting grounded, clearing your energy, flowing into the now moment, and then opening up and listening to guidance, and continuing to build the relationship with your intuition so that you know the guidance that's coming in. That's going to really, really help you. And then sometimes it's simply by just picking one and going for it. I'm being reminded, it's like a proverb, I think, but it's a donkey. And so it's this, basically it's a story of this donkey who has been walking through the desert, is starving and is thirsty, and comes to a path, and it can go this way and there's water right there, or it can go this way and there's food right there. And it sits there and it's like, do I want water first or food first? Water, food, and then it dies because it doesn't pick one. And so if it picked food first, then it could eat some food and then go over there and get some water, or vice versa. But because it's sitting there just like, well, do I want food or do I want water? I need both. Do I do this first or that first? This first, that first. And then, it dies. So that's a happy ending. But the message with that is pick one. Pick one and go for it. If it's the quote unquote wrong choice, you're going to be turned around and, to go in the other direction. But there's really no wrong choice. It's just what's more in alignment and what's not as in alignment. What's going to be more soul fulfilling and what's less soul fulfilling. It's not right or wrong, good or bad. It's just you're at a decision point. I feel like you've been at this decision point for a while. It's time to just choose. It's time to choose and go for it. It's time for this. And, you get to pick, are you going to go the path that's more aligned with your higher self? Or are you going to go the path that, maybe makes more logical sense? It's not a huge deal. Just pick, just pick one path and go for it. You can always change your mind later. It's really not that big of a deal. I mean, it feels like it is. Grand scheme, it's not the end of the world, more or less. It's just one of those, like, the time to pick is now. So make a decision, pick that path, align with that path, and see where it goes. Um, obviously I'm biased. I would say to pick the soul aligned path. Um, but again, it's your life, it's your choice. Do what you're guided to do. And but it's one of those, like, it's time to pick. Um It just hurt. My grandpa used to say this all the time to me, but he'd be like, "It's time to shit or get off the pot." Very crass, but, it's kind of that energy, like, either do it or don't, but just sitting there isn't really being productive. So, figure figure it out. It's not really figure it out, it's just pick one. You're at the point where you're being guided to just pick one and then take action. So, get her done. Um, and then the happy family energy, if it isn't in relation to this indecision card, then this is just really confirmation to let you know that this is in your energy. So if you have been desiring this happy family energy, it is coming for you or it is here for you. It just depends on, where you're at in life. Um, but this is definitely here for you. So, maybe some of you are getting ready to start a family, combine families, maybe you're going to come together. This is also a reunion card, so you could be reuniting with somebody from your past. Oftentimes it's a reunion between with a romantic interest, so that could be part of what's going on. Yeah. So it's really about embodying this energy, and it is in your energy field. Okay. I had to pause it to blow my nose for the 15th time. Just kidding, it was the third time. But it's funny because when I started this reading, I was like, okay, I'm going to do a quicker one, maybe 20, 30 minutes. I'm really not trying to do like an hour long reading, but I've got the time. It was just more like, I'm kind of tired, still not feeling 100%. And so I was like, I don't want to, do a whole hour long reading. It's Sunday. I'm going to spend some time with my kiddo, so on and so forth. And then I looked at the timer when I paused it and it was like 55 minutes. And I was like, really? So there could be something there too. That's kind of a good example of having some guidelines, but also being open to the process and surrendering. So it's different. There's sometimes when I'm like, I only have 30 minutes. I need this to be under 30 minutes. And the message will come out in 30 minutes. And then there's sometimes where I just let it flow and it doesn't matter. And sometimes those will be 10 minutes, sometimes they'll be an hour. It just depends. But in this one, it's a shining example of, you know, this is this is what I want to do, but it doesn't have to be this way. And then spirit's like, okay, well then do this. So that's kind of that surrender, being in alignment, not being completely rigid, but also not being completely like, okay, if this message needs to take 2 hours and I've got something in 30 minutes, then I'll skip that thing because this message needs to come out and be very elaborate. And so it's kind of this, and it practice practice, practice, practice. That's a huge part of this journey is just, trial by error, practice, and you'll get it. The more you walk this path, the easier it becomes. The sixth chakra, is that in reverse? No, okay. So this is the third eye. This is it's often called the seat of intuition. It deals with insight. It's seeing things beyond surface level. Confirmation. So you're seeing things on a deeper level. You're getting insight and awareness that is beyond what is physically in front of you. For some of you in this, where it gets kind of confusing is a lot of people think that because it's the third eye, it has to do with clairvoyance. And yes, of course it does. But this also is our other gifts and abilities. This is where we're bringing in that information, and then sometimes you'll feel it through different ways. Maybe you hear it, maybe you feel it, maybe you know it, maybe you smell it, taste it. We've got tons of extrasensory abilities, and so it's really this is the point of entry, is what I just heard. So this is where that information comes in, and then depending on what gifts and abilities that you're working with, that you have turned on, so on and so forth, that's where you're getting your insight. And so this can even be seeing signs and synchronicities with your physical eyes. This can be seeing things with your mind's eye. And this can also be, knowing something, like knowing that it's time to act and you don't know why, but you just know that it's time to do this thing. That's picking up on that other information. Okay. Anything else? Yep. How it is. Okay. And that one. Okay. That's all I'm gonna take. Bottom of the deck. Interesting. Garden of the Gate. Okay. All right. So hostilities, attachment, contract, the thinking man, an angel of balance. Okay, so yeah, regardless if you're masculine or feminine, there's a lot of mental energy going on. There's a lot of being stuck in the head, but yeah, it is a little stuck in the head. Sometimes this can be like really intellectual, really intelligent, learning new things, stuff like that. Um, and you could be doing that as well, like really in that intellectual, logical mind. But it's more, I'm feeling an expanded energy as well, especially with the third eye coming out. And then there's also this sense of overthinking, over analyzing, being stuck in your head. And then we've got the Angel of Balance card, and so I feel like this is just coming through to really kind of drive that point home of getting more into a balanced state. You don't need to overanalyze everything. You don't need to think everything through to 15 different potential ends before acting. Um, that's where that surrender and trust comes in. And so it's one of those like, I don't exactly know what's going to happen, but I know this is what I'm guided to do right now. So I'm going to do this thing and we're going to see what happens. That's more of that divinely surrendered energy versus that kind of ungrounded letting life pass you by energy. You're an active player. You're not a passive observer. And then we've got okay, so we've got hostilities, attachment, and contract. So you could still be dealing with I'm getting karmic contract, which is really interesting. I've never got that with this card before. So you could be still attached to some karmic energy that is creating hostility in your experience right now. So this could be a person that is a little more hostile on the surface. It could be a situation that's kind of hostile, which makes sense if it's karmic because you're meant to learn a lesson from it. And so there could be an issue going on in an area of life right now where you are overly attached to something that you're being guided to let go of. Um, and it's one of those like, you've learned the lesson at this point. It's okay to let it go. Um, yeah, yeah. Okay. That's what that meant. All right. No other. Okay. And art of romance. And the fourth. Okay. And the new beginning and victory. All right. Got it. Okay, so we've got the garden and the gate. This is talking about one well, yeah, this can be talking about wanting to go towards something that you feel like you're not quite good enough for, but there's a yet there. It's one of those like that's just a perception if that's the case. And then it's also talking about allowing yourself to come out and explore and to play and experience new things. And then we've got the fourth chakra. We've got all of them out here except the solar plexus. I don't think I've ever had this many chakra cards come out. So you definitely have a lot of activations going on in your system, a lot of rebalancing of your energy system just in general. You could be experiencing ascension symptoms. With that, if you're worried about your physical health in any way, make sure you talk to a medical professional. I'm not offering medical advice. We're looking at things from a spiritual, energetic standpoint. That being said, you could be experiencing an array of physical symptoms right now because of ascension symptoms. So if you're unfamiliar with that, definitely research that, look that up. Ascension symptoms can mimic all sorts of things, and it's just your energy recalibrating. And because we do have so much going on astrologically right now, that could definitely be, something going on. It can also be when you're doing deep inner work, your energy system is recalibrating to your new vibration, basically. So, but this is really, and the heart space. This is really going for your passions, what it is you love, what it is that makes your heart sing. And then we've got the door to romance. So for some of you, it's literally going to be a physical person. And for others of you, if the romance thread isn't for you, this is just talking about going for your heart's desire. And I am picking up career and then physical location. Those are the main three things that are coming through in this reading. So just take it as it resonates. Yeah, door to romance. We've got a new beginning here. A bright, happy new beginning is in your energy, and that is what you're being called to act upon right now. And then we've got victory, and that is saying that you are victorious in this endeavor, in this pursuit, in this new beginning. You will be victorious. You will have great success with whatever this is that you are embarking on. This journey that you are embarking on right now, that you're being guided to really take conscious, active steps on, it will lead to success and victory. So, yeah. All right. Well, that's a beautiful place to end the reading. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out here. I hope this helps. I hope this brings some clarity and some guidance for you. If this resonates, definitely let me know in the comments below. I would love to talk to you about it. Feel free to hit that like button. It does help out the channel, so thank you. And if you would like to see more from me, you can hit subscribe. It is free, and I will see you on the next message.